Autonomous vehicles are exempt from moving traffic violations in California. Let's talk about it. So this week, it's big news. You may have heard this already. And this has always been the situation, but I think the reason that it made the news this week is because of a memo that was obtained. And this was an internal memo from San Francisco Police Chief Bill Scott. And it instructed officers, and this is a quote, no citation for a moving violation can be issued if the autonomous vehicle is being operated in a driverless mode. Now, this opens the door to all kinds of problems, issues, concerns, questions, complaints, whines, moans, whatever the case may be. Let's start with that language. I don't know if this is legal or if this is uh, just the dictum of the police chief, whatever the case may be. What he says is being operated in driverless mode. In my mind, if you have, based on this, I think the argument could be made that if you have a driverless vehicle, let's take a Tesla. Now, I know Tesla is not fully autonomous right now, pretty darn close. And let's say you're drunk, you're driving, you get pulled over, put that sucker in autonomous mode and say, officer, this was in autonomous mode. I cannot be held responsible. I don't care. Give me a field sobriety test. Let me blow, see what my blood alcohol content is. It doesn't matter. According to this, they're not going to offer you a citation. Now, I don't know if that would be a legal argument or not, because it's not part of the state statutes as I understand it from what I'm reading here. But then I think we could argue, wait a minute, judge, a good attorney could argue, wait a minute, judge, in other situations, people are not being cited and you're citing my client. I think it's a loophole, and I think it's one that's got to be closed quickly. And this isn't like they haven't had time to do it, because there are other states that have already addressed this. Texas and Arizona come to mind. And as we look at this, Arizona says the owner of the autonomous vehicle may be issued a traffic citation or other applicable penalty if the vehicle fails to comply with traffic or motor vehicle laws. Texas says, according to the Texas Transportation Code, the owner of a driverless car is considered the operator. The owner is considered the operator and can be cited for breaking traffic laws regardless of whether the person is physically present in the vehicle. All right, now that raises another question. Remember that Arizona case where the person was killed? They're going across the crosswalk. They were killed because the driver wasn't paying attention, but it was an autonomous mode. So, who, according to Arizona law, should have been cited? Well, according to what I'm reading here, it says if it fails to comply with traffic laws, the owner of the autonomous vehicle. That's not what happened. The safety driver was the one that was penalized, that received the citation, the arrest. So we are really in kind of a gray area, limbo land here, because states are not even following their own laws. And when we're talking about California, they don't seem to have a law. Now, here's what popped into my head. Why doesn't California have a law? Okay, I always say follow the money or follow the power, follow the politics. In this case, there might be a little bit of each. So if you remember who Vice President Kamala Harris's brother-in-law is, Tony West. Who is Tony West? He is a chief legal officer at Uber. Harris has a very strong presence in California. She was the state attorney general. She grew up and lived in the Oakland, San Francisco area, in the Bay Area. So she has strong political ties. I'm sure she has a lot of clout and a lot of power in that area. So think about it. Her brother-in-law is the chief legal officer of Uber. Who runs the most vehicles, the most autonomous vehicles in California? Waymo. Back in May of 2023, guess who partnered with Waymo? You got it, Uber. So there's a lot of ugliness going on here. Now, I am just making suppositions, but all the dots seem to connect pretty clearly. They've had a long time. When did Texas put this law into place? Way back in 2017, almost 7 years ago now, Texas addressed autonomous vehicles. California, the state that I don't have numbers to support this, but I assume it's got to have the largest number of autonomous vehicles. They say there's over 2,000 of them operating in the state of California. They haven't addressed this yet. Something stinks. Something's ugly here. But let's go beyond this. Let's talk about the future. I jotted down a few ideas here, and I've already kind of alluded to it. Depending on how the statutes are written, I did not say statue, I said statutes. I know the T didn't come out well. Depending on how let's just say the law is written, um, could someone do that? Could someone merely claim, hey, yeah, I'm drunk, that's why I put it in autonomous mode to get me home? Or is it going to encourage more people? I'm going to sit in my passenger seat and put it in autonomous mode. Are cars there yet? Are they to the point where is an autonomous mode vehicle that's not fully tested safer than a drunk? I don't have that answer. What do you think? Leave your comments down below. How are you going to penalize the owner of the vehicle? If you are a driver, how might you be penalized? You would have, points applied to your license. You might um, have to take a course, a driving course. You might have to have your license taken away. There could be a lot of different things that could be used as a punitive measure. Well, it doesn't make sense if you're the owner of the vehicle to take away your license, apply points to your license. Might they do that? You can't take, a field sobriety test. You can't take a blood alcohol test because you're not there. You're not the one operating. So the only thing you can do is fine them. That's it. And now, if we're talking about a company like Uber, like Waymo, like Lyft, what do they care if they get a couple $100 fine? Now, I care. If I'm a driver, that's going to deter me because a few $100s is, you know, that's my week's groceries or a couple gallons of gas under the current administration. But but to a company like Uber and Lyft, they don't care. So the problem is, where's the deterrent? What do you think the deterrent should be for autonomous vehicles that break the law, right? That drive in construction zones, that make illegal turns, that go the wrong way down streets, or even injure people. We've seen people getting hit. We've seen them taking corners too sharp. We've seen people get run over by these vehicles. So where's the deterrent? They're going, what better testing grounds in the city streets? It's like they don't have to own their own testing facility. Take it out to the street. What do we care? If something goes wrong, we're not going to be cited. So those are my thoughts. What do you think? Is this a good idea? Or should they figure out how are we going to deal with autonomous vehicles? California has no laws yet, so they're just flying by the seat of their pants. Arizona and Texas, and probably more states, have some laws, but what's the penalty? Are the punitive measures sensible? And are they going to encourage people to operate those autonomous vehicles or obtain autonomous vehicles that operate more safely? I don't know that I have the answer yet, but I'll tell you what, I'm not the one putting those cars on the road, and those are the people that have to shoulder some of the responsibility. I'd love to hear your opinions down below. As always, I would encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. We're having a lot of fun over here. I'll see you Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our weekly live stream. So long. This is Mark for UberHints.